It's worth noting that on July 28th, Shan'ann never got hold of Watts, and he never got hold of her. If they had spoken at any time that day, perhaps this would have interrupted the spell, broken the leash Kissinger was placing on her man. This was the first day in weeks, perhaps years, that they had not spoken for a full day, and perhaps that was all that was needed to put his family completely out of his mind. On the 28th, he was experiencing what it felt like to not be married, not to be a husband, not to be a father, not to be obligated to them. He didn't need to think about them or do anything he didn't want to do. And he loved that. This was the life he wanted. This was the dimension he was looking for, with a sort of sporty woman. The Great Sand Dunes made an indelible impression on Watts, and based on Kissinger's text to her friend Charlotte Nelson 2 weeks later, seemed to seal the deal for her too.
I got nightmares in my head, I fear thoughts build up until I can't feel. My mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear.
Hello and welcome to True Crime Rocket Science. Now, based on the sheer amount of photos Chris Watts took during the 2-day camping trip to the Great Sand Dunes that was over the weekend of July 28th, it's clear the adventure with Nicole Kissinger meant a lot to him. It was exciting, fun. It was being active in the outdoors, and he was intoxicated by her and she by him. They used Kissinger's vehicle to travel to the Great Sand Dunes, and by 12:53 they'd already pitched a yellow tent, Kissinger's. This song was playing in the background when the campsite was briefly recorded on video. Before we get to the rest of this analysis, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. If you're finding this analysis worthwhile, please hit the thanks button, and let's get started. Now, it looks like these images and, above cloud level were taken with the campsite slightly in the background to the left. Between 1429 and 1855, Watts took dozens of photos and video of the Great Sand Dunes landscapes, but also of his mistress sandboarding, and several selfies of himself with her. Kissinger was dressed provocatively for the outing in a tight sleeveless teal t-shirt and very short shorts. Watts was more understated in a grey shirt, black shorts, and black cap. Even without makeup, Kissinger was hitting the right buttons with Watts, causing him to voice over a video of her skiing down to the bottom of a dune, so damn sexy. She thought he was too. We know that shortly after the trip ended, on July 30th, Watts wrote several love letters on colored paper, and we'll get to those in the next episode. Whatever he felt, it appeared to be mutual. In a self-recorded video that first afternoon, Kissinger breathlessly thanked Watts for coming out with her and said she was glad that he was having a blast. Both Watts and his mistress knew they had to make this last weekend count. It was the last chance at the end of their long, hot summer romance to punch the ticket and stay on the roller coaster for one final series of giddy swoops and turns. After that, it would be back to intermittent cuddles and random stolen intimacies. Kissinger still had the idea then that when Shan'ann and the kids returned, her access to her bow would be seriously reduced. As for Watts, he was even more painfully aware that once Shan'ann and the kids were back, this most epic of epic roller coaster rides that he'd ever been on was going to be over, perhaps forever. That night they made a campfire and then bedded down together under the whispering trees and twinkling stars. I'm not going to take it further than that, but one does wonder whether this particular experience, which I think was very magical for both of them, was what motivated Chris Watts in those darker moments when he decided to commit those awful crimes. That nightmare was as a result of pursuing this fairy tale. What do you guys think? Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.